Before we start, a quick note. This podcast is not a substitute for professional mental health care. If you need support, consider reaching out to a licensed professional. This podcast can include strong language and difficult topics. Pause if you need to. Let's get into it. I'm so pleased to welcome Daniel Whitaker today. Originally from the Midwest, Daniel has called New York City home for more than 11 years. He's a graduate student in mental health counseling, a bonsai instructor, and an event host. Beyond that, he's also an avid, though self-described, poor League of Legends player, a professional goofball who brings his humor into everything that he does. Daniel, I can't wait to hear all about how your experiences have shaped your sense of self and what they've taught you about living authentically. Welcome to I Feel Like I Should.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So what I've been doing recently is starting with an icebreaker, if that sounds good for you.
Yeah.
So what is a song that you secretly love? Something that always lifts up your mood, even if you wouldn't admit it to people around you, like your friends and family.
Okay. This has been a recent development. I've been obsessed with that new girl group Cat's Eye. And they're great. I love everything about them. And I know I feel like I'm way out of that age range of appreciation for them, but I am obsessed. And they have this song called Gnarly, and they just say gnarly over and over again, and it's hilarious, and it will always put a smile on my face. I always try to do the dance.
Ooh, there's a dance?
Oh, yeah. They're like American-made, like K-pop oriented group. So it's all like the really like synchronized dancing with this group of 6 young women. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you're feeling like it's beyond your age, it's like double beyond mine. But I have kids, so maybe I can like justify it that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it about that like you'll listen to it, but like, maybe I'm not gonna tell people like I'm into it.
Like why I wouldn't tell people that I'm into it. I think it's partly due because so the group was put together when they were like teenagers. They did this like competition show that's actually on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it is just weird that I'm like vibing and jamming out with this like really young group of girls, and I'm just like, woo, this is amazing. And like they're all like dressed in like crop tops and little mini skirts, and I'm just like, oh, I want to be them. But I can't. I'm a 30-something-year-old gay man. That's not where I'm at anymore.
Maybe Halloween? Question mark? I love that. That's amazing. So like moving into that thing again around music, which is like again like my obsession, and I'm always curious about like what we listen to and why, and then we'll go into the other whys behind that and everything. But like growing up, was there a song or a band like you felt like you should have liked because everyone else did, but like privately you're like, yeah, this doesn't really like hit me at all, like it doesn't really resonate with me?
Yeah, so I've been putting a little bit of thought into this, and I was just trying to like recall more of like what my younger self music journey was, and it was just all over the place. And it was because I had a very um uh minimal amount of awareness of who I was and where I was going. So there were a lot of different phases. I can't really think of just like one specific band that was like representative of the like area and the upbringing that I had. Um, I think I just kept trying to try out all of them,
Hmm.
and none of them really worked.
Yeah, like what do you think that was about for you?
I mean, I think it's just because I was trying to fit in before I knew where I wanted to fit in, you know?
Yeah. Can you kind of go a little further into like what did that mean for you? Not knowing like which seat of the table you felt most comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I think um like growing up in the Midwest, um and wanting to fit in so bad, I really buried major aspects of myself, my queerness, and like the center of my being is that aspect of my identity, for me at least.
Hmm.
So not um allowing myself to see that and explore it when I was that age was um yeah, just made for just like a massive confusion.
Hmm. Yeah. And did you have like friends and family around you that were aware that you were going through that, like, who am I? I mean, we all kind of go through that, but I think particularly for your experience, like you said with your queerness, like were other people aware of that journey, or was that something that was completely like,
Oh, so buried. I wasn't even aware of that journey until I was in college.
yeah,
But I think I was decent enough at playing different parts to um make it seem like I was fitting in with these different groups, but because I just kept they obviously weren't settling with me, which is why I kept bouncing around and trying out different hats in a way.
yeah. Can you remember any of the bands or any like the songs that were like playing around you?
Oh gosh, there was a phase I think in like middle school of like Simple Plan and Yellow Card. But there's also a phase to me now that makes me giggle uncomfortably of like Chingy and B2K. And so I was trying it all.
Wow, like the full like hot, did you ever like get into the metal scene, or was it all like the other side of it?
Not myself intentionally. I do recall like moments of like being in that crowd and being like, okay, I can work with this, but I never would like listen to it by myself on the side to like try to catch up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, cool, like, I feel like it's very honest, and we all do that as a teenager, but I'm always curious, like, how that was for the individual people that I talk to, because obviously it's different, right? Like your
Yeah.
experience is completely different than mine, and vice versa. And it's just funny to like, I always like to imagine, like we can't go back in time, but like music is a way to do that, right? Like you say a certain band when they were popular, I'm like, oh, I can go right there to that exact moment. And I kind of like think about too, like when you think about music and culture, like where have you felt the weight of other shoulds, like from others, yourself, the culture around you?
How do you mean?
Well, like, I think like in that phase of like you were trying to figure out, like you said, it was so buried, but clearly some part of you was like, that's not me, and that's not me, and that's not me. So like there are other things playing at that same time, right? Like the other weights of like, who should I be, and how should I sort of hold myself, like with my family and my friends.
Yeah. I mean, musically, the constant was I was a musical person growing up in general. So played piano, sang, did the music theater shows. So that was a constant um, throughout all of that. But it was a constant that, like, yes, even though at the time that was probably where I felt the most comfortable, and then I did end up getting my undergrad in music theater. But I think now at this point, even that was a space that I've had to recognize and acknowledge for what it was and what I needed it to be at that time, which was just a safer place to explore myself in certain ways. And then again, once I did start learning about and navigating my queerness and like gaining a confidence in it, that's when I realized, oh, that was the space that I needed that to be.
Hmm.
Um, because now, like, as an adult and, like, professionally in my future, that's not where I wanna be anymore, you know?
Mhm. Can you talk a little bit about that more?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that answers your question at all, but
Go deeper. Tell me more.
Um, no, yeah, I came out, like, my junior year of college, I think, and, like, it was fine, but I the hardest part was I was actively working against it. Like, I didn't want it to be true. I was, went very religious as well and was trying to, like, move past it. So, like, I'm fortunate that, like, many external forces were on paper not the concern. It was mostly in an internal battle for me. Um, and then when I did finally come out and graduate and then move to New York, that's where I really was able to start exploring my queerness. And that's when everything kind of locked into place of like, okay, I have this degree, but like performing professionally isn't what I feel drawn to. And that's when I realized it was the safe space that I needed it to be because I wasn't able to provide that safe space for myself before I knew these
Mm,
very important things about myself.
interesting. So that the musical theater world was kind of like your first protective bubble,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but not anymore.
Yeah, no.
You're not trying out for Wicked or anything
Still
else.
love it. Music theater will always have a very special place in my heart. But now I just sing in the shower for myself, and I'm not actively practicing vocal technique. And
That sounds like a lot of work if you were to do that full time.
yeah, there was a long period where the love and the enjoyment of just singing, as I remember it, being younger, what that fire was going out, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
since this whole process, it's definitely come back in a more positive light.
Yeah. I'm curious, like in college, when that happened for you, like finding yourself in that new world, were there also like other like music and bands and songs that you like either had to find yourself catching up to or like learn about? And then what was that process like as well?
It's interesting that you just say catch up to, because when I'm, like, thinking about just the framework of this show of, like, I feel like I should, a, like, big thing that I've always kind of felt is I feel like I'm always catching up. I feel like I've always been behind and just, like, just about every aspect. So yeah, like thinking about it musically, like after coming out, like I was just fully steeped in everything music theater. So staying on top of the new shows coming out, finding the new music, which ones work for my voice, XYZ. So once I came out and then like graduated and just really started finding myself, yeah, there's a lot of music that I had no idea existed, you know? Like, and I would go and I would intentionally put myself in these very queer spaces because I kind of felt like I just needed to steep myself in that area to
Hmm.
gain a confidence and comfortability just with myself. And everything I was hearing, I was like, what is this? What is going on?
Can you like kind of like guy like go a little deeper on that as well? Like what was that like? Sort of like entering a new I imagine, galaxy, right? Like
Yeah.
all these things.
I was fortunate that the spaces that I started entering, I just happened upon a group of other queer people that just kind of were their own small little family and support system. So on one hand, I was a mid 20s something guy from the Midwest who just came out of the closet, moved to New York, didn't really know a lot of people. So it was very overwhelming. And there's a lot of like with how my journey was, there's just a lot of like shame that I had to work through regarding all of that. So I felt very fortunate that I like found that group of people, um, and I was able to start building up my own internal safety through the safety that they immediately provided me. If I didn't have that group, I probably it just would have been a really different experience. It might have taken me longer or what have you to like have the confidence in my queerness that I do now. But yeah, again, I don't know if I'm answering your questions.
No, no, you are. And I think what like taking it all the way out, right? Like eventually people are going to hear this and what's valuable, right? Like whether we stick to the question or not, and I can always do more of that too, but like is that there's going to be someone or multiple people who will hear this who might be in the position that you were in prior to your junior year of college, right? Or even now, like wherever they are in their life. And so it's really interesting to hear your like movement into more of who you are and how you got there. And it sounds like you were able to do that, right? At first you had the musical theater group, which you weren't aware, well, you were aware. I would argue you might be aware of at the time, but weren't. And then of course, like you said, your story of coming out and then finding like community in New York. So it's kind of an interesting progress. And I'm wondering, like, related to that, like in that journey, like could you share another should outside of this musical world that we're talking about that like really shaped your life, and, like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a nuanced should maybe because I think it's gonna sound worse than how I mean it to be. But in um many ways, I feel like I should have come out a lot earlier. Or I wish, maybe less of a should. I wish should have come out earlier. Because I think about it a lot. I think of how the protective factor of being in the music theater groups, needing that led me to make the decision for my undergrad that led me to all these other things where I'm now finally 10 years after my undergrad, I'm getting my master's in something that I um, feel genuinely drawn to, and I'm confident in that decision because I have a greater awareness and hold of just my own self concept.
Mm,
I wonder, I can't help but wonder all the time if I hadn't uh, had those parts of me so buried for so long and was able to explore them and accept them earlier, would I not have maybe made it to a place where I'm at now a lot sooner?
yeah, yeah. I'm wondering, like, as you say that, where is that wish or where is that should or expectation that you're holding to yourself coming from? Is it from family, like the school environment, your community, the culture that you're around, the media? Like, where is that? As you said, like you're sharing, you're thinking about that, and it comes to mind a lot. So, where is that like coming from?
I mean, big picture, definitely just societal expectations at large, like dominant society, there are mile markers for life. You follow those mile markers and you're living a acceptable uh, life,
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't. really hit any of those. Well, I mean, school, I guess, counts as hitting those, but after that, everything just got really jumbled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but then, like, if we were to kind of zoom in a little more, it's no like one specific person or influence, but just the natural caveat of comparing
Yeah.
to what I see around me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not anyone that's necessarily putting it on me, but it's like I see some of my siblings, I see my partner, I see other friends, I see people just all at different stages that I convince myself is like spaces that I should be in,
Hmm.
but I'm not there yet because it's just taken me a different amount of time. I'm not going to say a longer amount of time. That that implies some judgment. See, I've been actively working on this for years.
Good for you. I have a lot of that left. Yeah, I mean, I think I find this really interesting. So, like, if there isn't, and there probably are, but like in this conversation, like a definitive, like, I felt it from here, more as I feel it from everywhere, this unspoken thing, like we're all trying, I shouldn't say we're all are, but like trying to fit in, trying to be part of the group, trying to figure out in that process, like you said, like jumping around from this group to that group to this, like I could do this or I could do this, but that's not me. But you're still feeling that. Like you're still feeling, or I'm still feeling even now at times, like, okay, I got to fit in. And it's such a strong presence. And yet it's like everywhere and it's nowhere.
Yeah, and I think it's also just connected to just humanity's natural thing of comparing yourself to what you see around you on every level. I think everyone on some level, if you have some self awareness, struggles with that in their lives and in some way.
Sure. And I know I do. Even at the point where I'm at, right? Even getting to where I'm at and, finding this career path as well and being in the same graduate school program and understanding like, oh, this is me, but like, I wasn't not myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And interesting, just like conversations that are coming up, like in this program that we're in, that I can acknowledge as indicators that I am have a much more strength of self concept is again like trying to fit in. Like we were kind of touching on it before we started of like going into this field of mental health counseling. There are expectations that maybe like I don't necessarily think that people are putting them on me. I think it might even just be stereotypes that I have built in my head of what a postured, professional, successful counselor looks like, and not feeling like I necessarily fit that mold. But what I'm noticing is I'm interacting with that differently than I would have even 5 years ago, where I'm not necessarily trying to fit into that mold, and I'm more working on communicating on, like, "This is how I fit into this space as the me that I am, and that's okay."
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we're kind of circling around like, what does it mean to live authentically? Which is a kind of a catchphrase I hear a lot, and yet also has a lot of value in using. So often authenticity shifts or we're not aware of it, it evolves. Like, how do you know you're living your most authentic self? Like, what markers are there for you?
Well, I think there's absolutely just a caveat of self-awareness in general, where being a little self-aware can be great. Being a lot self-aware, and if we're constantly evaluating how we're showing up into spaces,
Yeah.
is that authentic? I don't necessarily think so.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it can come less of how you show up in spaces and more internally, just like where you're at in the moment, because that's going to dictate how you show up in certain spaces. So allowing a flexibility of that ever changing authenticity, and it'll be different moment to moment, day to day. Sometimes you'll be one version of yourself for a month, and then you'll have 3 days at the end of that month where it changes every few hours, and then you're exhausted.
Then you're like, what am I doing?
But I think like all of those are authentic ways to show up for yourself and for other people. Where it can get dicey is trying to overanalyze all those moments and adding layers of judgment on top of them of like, oh, I maybe shouldn't have been this in this way at this point in time, rather than I was this way in this space at this point in time. And that's what it was. And that's okay.
Yeah. I wonder if you noticed at all, like in your journey toward yourself, you're always yourself. Did you ever see the movie I Heart Huckabees?
Uh,
It's an existential movie, which I think you'll appreciate. And they use this line, and like I use it all the time in it, which is like, how am I not myself?
yeah.
So like saying that, like, how am I not myself? But also like when we feel like we're not ourselves, or we feel like these shoulds are pressuring in, like how did they show up for you physically or emotionally?
Like if I'm feeling like a disconnect, I think that's kind of where it kind of stems from. Like if there's a disconnect on like the external with my internal, like that's where I feel like I might not be feeling myself, even though, like you said, we can't get away from ourselves. So whatever self in the moment is going to happen. I can absolutely attest to in those moments, I tend to get a little like frantic,
Mm,
like a jittered anxiety.
mm.
And it's kind of just like a little like fluttery, buzzy internally that doesn't feel nice.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so it's so interesting, like recognizing that, like you could see that now. Like I'm sure for me growing up and like navigating the self, I probably was very anxious and very on edge, but didn't know why, right? Like wasn't given the tools to figure out like, oh, this feeling is like a warning sign or it's an alarm.
Yeah.
Kind of moving out of this a little bit. Are there shoulds that you feel right now? And what are they and how are you navigating those shoulds in your life?
Yeah. So I guess this goes back to just like where I kind of live of feeling like I just am always trying to play catch up or I'm behind. So
Mm,
I do feel like I should be just further along in where I'm at in life. And that is dictated by the like comparisons that I place on myself for what I see around me. So on one hand, like that all does it can sound all like really negative
mhm,
on one hand, where it's like, "Ooh, these are bad. Like, don't listen to them. Don't compare yourself to other people. Like, you're fine where you're at." Which is true, but I also think it can be useful to have an awareness of these shoulds,
mhm,
as you put it, because they can also be uh, uh, catalysts and other driving forces to get you to make
mm,
the moves that you have been dreaming to make. Well, that's how I'm here now. That's how I'm in this program, you know?
yeah. Yeah, they could be teachers, you're saying,
Yeah.
if you let them.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you let them. Otherwise,
Uh-huh.
not so much. Um, well, before we go, and thank you so much for this conversation. It's always
Yeah.
fun to like wrap it up a little bit on a share note. So I'm wondering if there's a song now that like helps you like have new meaning or helps you let go or just helps you just feel good or maybe feel introspective or something that makes you like what it's like when you have a favorite song, that
Yeah.
feeling, like, what is that now for you, and what would you recommend that people should listen to, like, get those feelings?
Yeah. I mean, if you just need an upbeat pick me up, anything Cat's Eye. But that's not going to be my final answer.
And cut.
And we're done. But no, I think like something a little more introspective and just a song that I've had on repeat is from Gaga's new album, the song "Vanish Into You" on Mayhem. That's a really good one. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll add that to the list. Just want to say, really appreciate this conversation. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah, anytime. All right, my friend. We'll call it there. And thank you so much.
Perfect. Awesome.
You've been listening to I Feel Like I Should. More at ifeellikeishould.com and on Instagram at I Feel Like I Should pod. I'll see you next time.